There are some things that people don't warn you about enough before you have kids, or even when you're pregnant. There's a lot of things, but I think one of the most important things is postnatal depression. Nobody tells you about it before you have babies, not even when you're pregnant. Some people don't even really fully explain it after. They just kind of ask you if you're feeling a little bit sad, but it is so much more than that. So 1 in 5 people suffer from postnatal depression, and only 10% of those people get help. I say people because a lot of people think that only women can suffer with postnatal depression, but it actually affects men too. Men find it even harder to get help with it because they think that, you know, there's a lot of stigma around it. They think that, oh, well, I didn't have the baby, I didn't have the body changes, the hormone changes, I didn't go through the traumatic labour. But they have to physically stand there and watch you go through all of that, especially in a traumatic labour. There's nothing that they can do. So it does affect men too. It's so important to get help with it. I have suffered with postnatal depression after all 3 of my babies, the youngest being 6 months, so I'm still getting treatment for it now. And it's really hard to put yourself out there and say, do you know what, I'm struggling. There's a lot of myths that surround postnatal depression. Everyone will try and tell you that, oh, it's not real depression, it's just hormones. You know, when your hormones balance out, you'll feel better and it'll pass. And that's not true. It's actually just as severe as other kinds of depression. In some cases, it can even be more severe. If you have really bad postnatal depression, a lot of women can feel like they want to hurt their baby, which, well, to me, makes that more severe because it's not only affecting you, it's affecting your children and the way you look after them. I've never had it that bad, luckily. But some women do, and you shouldn't feel bad about it as long as you're going to get help about it. So a lot of women don't know that they have postnatal depression, and a lot of women don't like to admit it. It's really hard to admit because nothing prepares you for that feeling of, well, I'm a failure of a mother then, and I'm a failure of a woman, because this is what women are supposed to do. Women are supposed to have babies. Women should just be able to have babies, and they should be able to look after babies, and it shouldn't affect them like this. Like, why am I feeling sad? I've just had a baby. It's the best thing in the world, and it is. Just because you have postnatal depression, it doesn't mean that you're less of a mother, that you're less of a woman, and it doesn't mean that you love your children any less. It can make it harder to bond with your baby, especially in the beginning, but it doesn't make you love them any less, and it doesn't mean that you're not grateful for what you have. I've actually had friends tell me, like, well, you shouldn't be feeling like that. You've got babies. Some people can't have babies. There's a lot of women out there that would love to be in your position. Like, yeah, I love that I'm in my position. I love that I've got my children, and I love them more than anything. But that doesn't mean that I'm not struggling and that I don't go through this. There's a lot of signs and symptoms of postnatal depression. So there's persistent sadness, low mood, you just feel down all the time. Tiredness, and a lot of people just think, oh, of course I'm tired, I've got a newborn baby. But extreme tiredness and just constantly feeling tired. So you've slept all right, but all day you still feel tired. That's a sign of postnatal depression. I think, well, that's a sign of any depression, but after having a baby, keep an eye out for it because it's a sign of postnatal depression. Lack of enjoyment. You just don't enjoy anything you're doing, or you don't enjoy the things that you used to enjoy. Not sleeping, again, going back to tiredness, not sleeping at night, but all day you're just tired. That's another sign of postnatal depression. I struggle with wanting to go out places. People invite me places and I just want to stay home. Withdrawing contact from people and just not wanting to leave the house. A lot of people, you start to feel like, oh, well, people don't actually care anymore, because you're like, oh no, I don't want to go anywhere. I don't want to do anything. You kind of stop communicating as well, and your friends, especially ones that don't have babies, just think, well, she's tired, she's got a newborn, so she's obviously just busy and she's not replying. Because you don't tell everyone. Like, there's not many of my friends that know. My partner knows, and maybe 2 or 3 of my friends know. I mean, you don't want to go around telling everyone. But yeah, so a lot of people will just think, she's busy, she's got 3 kids now, she's got no time to reply to me, she's got no time to come out. So people just stop asking, and that does make you feel like they don't care, but it's not true. Sometimes you need to make that step and reach out and just be like, look, I'm sorry, I've got this going on, you know, maybe one of my better days I'll get in touch and we'll go out somewhere. So my postnatal depression affects me, well, I've had it with all 3 of mine. The first time was probably the worst because you don't want to go and get help. I didn't even really notice. My partner and my mum kind of said to me like, oh, maybe you know, you should go and speak to the health visitor about it. And I'm just like, no, I'm fine, I'm just sad. But I wasn't just sad. So I probably had it the worst with him. I would just get really angry and I'd lash out about stupid things. Like, I remember making pancakes and they were getting stuck to the pan and I couldn't do anything, and my partner asked his mother to take over and make the pancakes, and I lost it. I went off on one. I was like, it's not that I can't make the pancakes. Literally just angry about stupid things. And I kind of, my eldest, he had colic. He just didn't sleep. So all of that was a factor, but I find it so hard to like keep my patience with him, and it's a baby that you should have all the patience in the world for them. But I couldn't. He'd be crying and I'd be getting frustrated, and I just have to give him to somebody else. And that's kind of when I sort of realised, okay, do you know what? I need help. But then, so I did speak to the health visitor about it and I got help. I went to the doctor, and a couple of, well, it does take a while, a couple of months down the line, I felt a lot better. And then you can really start developing that bond. So it does affect the bond. But it's so hard to go out and talk about. So with my second, I didn't get treatment because it's only now with my third, looking back, that I realised I actually did have it with him too, but I just didn't have it as badly. So I just thought, you know, this is just tired. Like, I am just tired. And I don't want to do stuff because I'm tired. And I was breastfeeding him, so it was a lot more exhausting. So I just put everything down to that. But now, having it again with my third, I look back and I think, no, do you know what? Actually, I did have it with him, but I just didn't want to. There was a couple of times where I thought, oh, do you know what? I think I've got it again. But it's hard enough going to get the help the first time that you don't want to then go again the second time, because you don't want, like, you feel like you disappoint people, like, oh, like, she can't cope again. Like, you literally just feel like you're letting everybody down, and you've let yourself down, and you've let your baby down. So yeah, it's hard enough the first time. The second time, you just don't want to do it again. But this time, I noticed straight away. So literally within the first 2 weeks, I turned around to the therapist and I said, look, I need the help again. So this time I've actually managed to control it a lot more. So I'm still tired. I still don't really want to go out and do stuff. I make myself. But this time there's some bad days, but most of the days are good. And I think it's because I went to get the treatment so early. So yeah, I went to the doctors straight away, got medication straight away, and I've been on it. She's 6 months old now, and I've been on it since she was born. Well, you know, since she was about 2 weeks old. But I think with the third one, I've just realised that a lot of women go through it. It's not talked about enough. Whenever you go through it, you feel like you're on your own. You feel like nobody in the world is going through this. But that's not true. And I think it took that long for me to realise that. So that's kind of why I've decided to make this video, because people need to realise that it is normal. A lot of people go through it, men go through it, women go through it, and it doesn't make you any less of a person or any less of a mother. You need to go and get the help. even if it's just, if you watch this video and you want to message me and do you know what, I'm struggling too, like I need help, I need to talk to somebody about it, just message me, message anyone. As long as you tell someone, it kind of helps you make the first steps to go in to get that help. Yeah, I don't even know if I've covered everything I wanted to, but the video is 10 minutes long now and I don't want to bore everyone. But yeah, the most important thing is go and get help. As hard as it is to admit, and as much as you feel like a failure, go and get help.